All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are going to now talk about the 49ers Jaguars game. And is this the week the 49ers get back on track? So obviously, both teams coming in, Niners 5-3, Jags 6-2. This is a big game for the 49ers. Well, it's a big game for both teams, but the 49ers, they need to get back on track here. Okay? They've lost 3 in a row. This has to be the week that they get a win. Now, right now, the spread is +3 the Jags are getting. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards taking the points because, Jacksonville's defense has been playing better as of late. And the way the 49ers have been struggling a little bit. So, I think this could be a close game. Now, would I be surprised if the 49ers just come out and blow out the Jags? No. Because that could definitely happen. But right now, I'm leaning towards Niners win, Jags cover. Because, listen, last night I said Bears win, Panthers cover. Now it's completely different. You got two teams that aren't going anywhere. You got two teams that could meet in the Super Bowl possibly. I don't think it's going to happen. But you never know. I'm going to go with that. Now, we look at the two teams, of course, how they stack up against each other. So in terms of passing yards per game, Niners are 12th, Jags are 14th. Rushing yards, the Niners, of course, are 5th in rushing in the NFL, with Christian McCaffrey, of course, leading the way. Jags are 14th, but obviously, they're middle of the pack, but Travis Etienne has had a great season. He's been a machine for them. And then, of course, points per game, they're both top 10. Niners are 4th, Jags are 10. Then on the defensive side of the ball, that is where the Jags can exploit this defense if Trevor Lawrence has time, because the back end of the Niners has not been good. We saw what Kirk Cousins did to him. Who did they play before the bye? Oh, Joe Burrow, of course. Joe Burrow and Kirk Cousins. What they were able to do when they had time, if Trevor Lawrence has time to throw, he's got the weapons. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And then, of course, in terms of rushing yards, both teams are top 5. The Jags are 4th, their defenses, and the Niners are 5th. Now, we'll see. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, another week to get healthier because, he was banged up a little bit. So we'll see. But, so that's definitely a matchup to keep an eye on. Then points allowed, the Niners are 4th, and the Jags are 8th. So, the Jags' defense has been good. Now, against the pass, not so much. And, we've seen what the Niners, defense has done against the pass recently, against two good quarterbacks. Now they're going up against Trevor Lawrence, so it doesn't get easier. But, we'll see. I mean, now you got Chase Young coming in, making his debut, I'm pretty sure. So, we'll see if they could get after Trevor Lawrence. I think the Jags do have some offensive line issues, so that, you worry about that. But we'll see. We'll see. And actually, let's see. So Deebo Samuel is going to play in this game, so that's big for the Niners, getting him back, another weapon for Brock Purdy. The status of Trent Williams, I mean, he's still questionable with an ankle, so you're hoping to get him back. A lot of guys are questionable going into this game, so we'll see how that all plays out. But, I mean, ultimately, look, the Niners are coming off of a bye. Now, the thing is, you got to worry about they're coming all the way to the East Coast, and people talk about that. Sometimes that's an issue. That's another thing. Now, when I make predictions, I don't really factor into that. But, at times maybe I should. But I like the Niners to get back on track. I think they are due for a win. Because, I mean, losing 4 in a row, that's rough. But then again, maybe it's a good thing because then you get you get your bad streak out of the way. And you just play good football the rest of the way. Now, I will say, it was interesting that Kay Adams, shout out to her, she was talking about how Brock Purdy really isn't the problem with the Niners, and she was talking about the defense being an issue, and yeah, I agree with that. But I will say though, Brock Purdy turning the ball over more has been a little bit concerning. I would say that. But the defense has been a concern. I mean, Kirk Cousins lit them up, and then Joe Burrow did the same thing. Like if they don't get pressure, like they don't really have like the corners to match up with the receivers on the opposing teams. I mean now, obviously you look at the Vikings. I mean the Vikings were without Justin Jefferson, but Jordan Addison's had a really good season. You got Hawkinson, of course, and then the Bengals. You got Chase, Higgins, Boyd. With the Jags, you got Christian Kirk and Ridley, Evan Ingram. ETN obviously can catch passes out of the backfield. So, yeah, the Niners are going to have their hands full with this offense on Sunday. But, can the Niners come out and just play, great football and, win this game? I mean, it can definitely happen. Because, we've seen the Jags get blown out at home by the Texans, earlier in the season. And the Niners coming off a bye, a team that's lost 3 in a row. I mean, maybe they wake up finally, and this is their get-right game. But we'll see. I mean, I hope it's a good game, and I hope that, I win the game in the spread pool and cover. And maybe this is the week I finally win a week. I don't really know. I honestly have no idea. It's I feel like it's just one of those things with the spread pool. It's just not going to happen. But we'll see. For me, it's really just for the Niners. I mean, if they get after Trevor Lawrence, they don't give him time. I mean, they should win this game. And then for the offense, get the ball to your playmakers. Don't turn the ball over. I mean, it's pretty simple. Because, Brock Purdy, yeah, and that's the other thing, too, talking about, like, him playing hero ball, which, yeah, I understand that. I get it. But I don't think this rough stretch, like, I don't think he's played, like, horrible, but, he hasn't been great. Like, he's turning the ball over, and that's something that he didn't do, when the Niners were 5-0, and even last year as well. So, we'll see how this game goes. But, yeah, I mean, the Niners are coming a long way, but they're coming off of a bye. Well, both teams are coming off of a bye. There's playmakers all over the place on both sides of the ball. Jags defense has been playing well. The offense, I mean, yeah, it's they're still trying to be more consistent, of course. But, I mean, listen, the Jags, I think they ultimately get the South. I've talked about this. The Niners right now, I mean, they're battling it out with Seattle, but I think ultimately they win that for the division. But, I mean, as of right now, I mean, we could see the Niners maybe being, right now they're the 3 seed, right? Because now they have the lead over Seattle because Seattle lost to the Ravens. So right now, yeah, they're the 3 seed. So, they're looking up at the Lions and the Eagles, and I think at this point, like, I think the Eagles might get the number 1 seed again. But again, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. I mean, it has been concerning what's happened with the Niners over the last couple of weeks. It definitely has been concerning. But I think they're a team that is they're gonna figure it out. Now, what happens, going forward? Are they going to get to the Super Bowl? I mean, yeah, that definitely has taken a hit. How based off of how they've played, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But they got to get right, and it's not like. This losing streak has kind of knocked them out of the division or, they're playing catch up. I mean, yeah, I guess for like the number 1 seed, yeah, but the division is still theirs to lose. I still look at them as the best team. I mean, the Cardinals, they're out of it. Kyler's coming back, but, they're going to win a couple more games, you would think, but they're not doing anything. The Rams, I mean, they're kind of in disarray now with Stafford being hurt. It's really just between them and Seattle. But for me, Seattle's a wild card team. Seattle is a good team. But I've been saying how I think they kind of need to upgrade a quarterback. That's ultimately what's going to hold them back. And I just can't see. I can't see a world in which Geno Smith wins the division over the 49ers. I can't see it. Now, that ends up happening. Clip this and make sure to post it on Freezing Cold Takes. Have Freezing Cold Takes post it because I just don't see it. Now, they play each other in a couple weeks. They play each other on Thanksgiving in Seattle. So that's a big game for both teams. That's coming up. That's coming up. Believe it or not. But I think the 49ers, they'll be fine. But, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. And you still got the Eagles on your schedule. You got Seattle, like I talked about. So, there's some tough games that they have left. Oh, the Ravens as well. They play the Ravens. They didn't do that yet. They play them later in the year in San Francisco. So that'll be an interesting game. Well, that'll be, not just interesting. It'll be a great game to watch. How the Ravens, how they've been playing. It's we'll see how it all plays out. And that's really all I can say, as I always say. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the Niners. I think they win this week, but I think it'll be a close game. Because Jaguars are a good team as well. So, we'll see how it goes. But again, I just want to remind you guys, of course, before we get into our second break here. Just give me 1 second. Got to change everything up here. So again, I just wanted to remind you guys, as always, to become part of the show, to tip or donate, get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between me and you guys, the viewers. Once again, the link, streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And once again, it is on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment here. So, yep, I got that in. And, so with that, we are going to take our second break of the show. And then when we come back, we obviously this game is an early game. But we will preview the rest of the early window games. Of course, we have another game that is being played in Germany, which for some reason I think I did say it's in London. No, this one's in Germany as well. Not as enticing as the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Of course, we'll be getting the Colts and the Patriots. And I did say this yesterday, I'm pretty sure. But, it's not Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. It's Mac Jones versus Gardner Minshew. But there's other games as well that we'll get into, of course. And that'll be the third part of the show. So, stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.